Hello, Mr. Shali. How are you doing today?
I'm doing good.
Awesome, awesome. It's really wonderful to have you with us tonight. Why don't we begin by going ahead and introducing yourself?
Hi, Afrin. I'm Shali. Actually, I have a very long name, Lakshmikant Shaligram, and people find it very difficult to pronounce. So one of my Japanese friend, he started calling me Shali, and ever since then, it has become my short name.
That it just clicked. That's awesome. I love it when nicknames come by like that, just out of coincidence, and someone using a really good nickname for you. All right. Mr. Shali, you've lived a very accomplished life, and you were doing great even before Zenith. But how was life before Zenith, and what pushed you? What was missing that pushed you to join the communication intelligence program?
Yeah, see, I've been working in corporate world for almost 3 decades now in IT industry, and I have lived in different geographies: US, Europe, Japan, and India. I was very comfortable in my settings, and I noticed that when I'm communicating to people around me, they listen to me and they respect me. But when I started going out in external environment where people didn't know me, I noticed that either they are not listening, or they are not understanding my point, or sometimes they are just ignoring me. And I started wondering, why is this happening? And I just, so far I have been kind of accepted that fact that probably it just takes time for them to understand me, and that's why it is happening. And I continue to live with that. So one fine evening when I was browsing different reels on Instagram, I suddenly came across a very compelling video. It was Gurleen ma'am talking about communication intelligence, and she was exactly talking about the problem that I was facing, and I found instant connection. I became curious and I thought I must check out this program. I went to the website, I immediately enrolled for the program, and the first session was one of the most amazing sessions. I'll talk about that maybe subsequently, but that's how my Zenith journey began.
Beautiful, Mr. Shali. I love the part where you mentioned that you actually started wondering. I think so many times in our life we spend so much of time being uncomfortable and being in uncomfortable situations, not really feeling our best and living our best, that we choose to ignore it. But the fact that you started wondering, I think that was the beginning of something very special, and I'm very glad that you mentioned that. Now, over the last so many weeks, Mr. Shali, you have undergone tremendous transformation in your personal and professional life, and I am going to talk about that. But before we jump into that, I want to ask you a question that we get asked a lot by participants who are applying for the communication intelligence program, where they end up asking us if 12 weeks are enough for transformation. And you having experienced it firsthand, I want to know that from you. What would you say to a question like that?
I think that 12 weeks are not just 12 weeks, they are immersive 12 weeks. I would say that the design of this program is such that you are completely immersed into the concepts, you participate actively, and you are continuously engaged every week. So I would say that these 12 weeks are one of the best 12 weeks that you can invest in yourself and participate in this program.
Amazing. Mr. Shali, one thing that I want to touch on, because we're talking about transformation, the first thing I want to touch on is the fact that the connection that you now experience with people has evolved greatly in your personal life. And I want to know how are your personal relationships now? How is your connection now? How was it earlier? And what's different now?
Yeah, it's funny because earlier I used to talk to my wife or with my daughter, and I always used to offer them some solution whenever they were complaining about something, and they kept on saying, you don't listen to me, and I was wondering why is this happening. And when I did this initial set of sessions, and I did the feedback survey, I continuously got this feedback that you are only doing selective listening and you are judgmental. And that's when this program actually helped me to understand the significant aspects of internal communication. And also it taught me that in cases you have to actively listen to the person in front of you. You have to be empathetic with their emotions, and you don't need to offer solutions every time. That was a big learning for me, and it has helped me communicate and connect better with my wife and my daughter, two of the most important people in my life. And they are seeing the difference. I don't say that it is I have completely accomplished that, but I definitely see the way of active listening has improved our interactions next level.
Absolutely. And what you say makes me think about the fact that so many times when we offer advice and we're trying to help other people, in our mind, that's the best form of listening. You're coming to me with a problem, you're coming to me for help, and I'm offering you help. What else do you need? And
Right.
I think a lot of times people confuse that with actually empathetic listening. And I think as a result of this, Mr. Shali, you've also experienced a significant decrease in the conflicts that you were facing in your life. I remember, I think at the very second discussion forum when we were talking about the law of marginal adjustments, and we were talking about how, your conflicts have decreased, and we sort of were talking about how they're going to continue decreasing. So how was that earlier? How is that now?
Yeah, so earlier I always wanted to have a kind of nice relationship with people around me. So either I used to, in a conflict situation, I used to either avoid those conflicts, or sometimes I would just shut off. I mean, I would just shut myself, away from that conflict situation. I was to either avoid or, not say anything. Now, during this communication intelligence program, I understood how to handle conflict effectively, how to go about it, how to understand different emotions involved in conflict situations, how to declutter the different messages that are happening, and how to approach it systematically and pass your messages effectively, as well as build proper connections with people around you. So this has definitely helped me to approach different conflicting situations. And as Gurleen ma'am said, like she gave the example of pyramid. Whatever may be the temperature outside, the temperature inside in pyramid is always 20 degrees. So it is very good metaphor. So I also try to become that way. So irrespective of different conflict situations and different emotions involved, if I try to become a stable person, I'm sure I will, even in future, I will handle these situations quite effectively.
Over the last so many weeks, you've had the opportunity to engage in this program in a community format but a lot of times another question that we get asked is that why is this program not one-on-one? And why is this in a community format? And is it going to be effective in a community format? What would you say to that?
I strongly believe the community format helps learn from each other. Even during last 12 weeks program, there were many of my batchmates. I could find instant communication in the way they were facing challenges. I could find instant connection in the way they were improving. So there is a lot of learning that is happening from each other in the community program, and it is making it quite interesting, quite engrossing. The communication, the challenges, the assignments, or even the games that we play, it becomes a lot more interactive in a community setting. So I strongly believe the community setup definitely makes this program highly effective.
And it gives you a community to fall back on. I'm very sure that you're going to stay connected and you're going to find a
Yeah.
lot of belongingness. I think you've already found that sense of belongingness with this group of people that you know are always going to have your back, no matter how much
Right.
time passes or no matter where you are in the world. And I think that's a very beautiful thing.
Yeah.
I'm sure your, outcome-driven communication in your professional life has also evolved greatly, Mr. Shali. So I want to understand, how have the people in your professional life started seeing you differently now?
Yeah, so I have not kind of discussed the official feedback, but I could see in my interactions with my colleagues, my managers, I could see that they are it is becoming warmer, and there is more kind of there is better understanding about what I'm communicating and what they're telling me. So I have seen that difference, and it is like implicit feedback I'm getting without asking for a specific feedback. This is a direct observable feedback I'm seeing in my environment. So it is definitely helping. And I think one example I quoted earlier was when I was talking about some of the observations in related to one of the changes that happened recently in the organization. I think these observations were immediately noticed by my managers, and it was really appreciated. So I think those type of differences I'm seeing. I'm also getting chance to drive certain new initiatives, which I always wanted to drive, but earlier I didn't get chance. But now I've been empowered to drive those initiatives and make greater impact within the organization. So there are definitely very positive changes in my surroundings I have observed.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I think it's related a lot to the fact that you're a much more outcome-driven communicator now. What you had mentioned at the beginning of this call, even if now you're interacting with new people, and there are certain outcomes that you need to get out of a communication, because you're a much more empathetic listener now, and because you know how to evaluate and understand people's emotions. I think you're able to mold the outcome that you want out of a certain conversation very beautifully in those interactions. And I think people are taking notice of that. I think that's very powerful. Mr. Shali, you've spent a lot of time and money and energy and weeks on this program. How would you say your return on investment has been? Has it been worth it?
Definitely, I started this kind of like initial trial period, whether I thought maybe I'll check out first few sessions and see whether I want to continue or not, because I definitely knew that it's going to take a lot more time and effort for me apart from my day-to-day working hours. But the very first session that I participated in, it was on observation, power of observation. And it started with that video of Piper Bird, and the Gurleen ma'am actually started engaging with all of us. And then we realized how many details in a very short video you can miss out if you are not observing carefully. And with that, I realized that there are so many things that I'm missing out, and I definitely need to understand and need to learn. And also the concept of inner communication and internal communication and external communication, I had never heard about it. I became curious, and I started spending more and more time. And I never felt that I'm actually wasting my time or unnecessarily staying up late in the night. Like many sessions went up to 1:30 in the night for me, and usually my day starts very early in the morning. But I never felt that I'm wasting my time and unnecessarily dragging in those sessions. So it was definitely time worth spent, and I definitely have got a very good return on my time investment. The return I would not kind of calculate in terms of tangible outcome, but intangible. I personally feel very motivated with the type of connections that I can make, the power that I have got through this communication intelligence program, the way I need to express myself, the way I need to communicate with people, the strategies I need to adopt when I'm making presentations, the after framework, or even the game of outcome-driven communication, where you use the fork and you roll the coins just to make sure that it goes to the right slot. So those kind of learnings are definitely helping me, and I believe it is a lifelong learning that I'm carrying with me. So I wouldn't attribute any single return on the investment kind of value to this. I would say this is enriching me personally, and it's not rewarding, but it is bringing meaning. So the meaning is actually has a lot more value than just instantaneous reward. So that is my take on what is the return I'm getting on this program.
You have such a bang on expression, Mr. Shali, and I think one reason why you have been able to reap the benefits from the very first session of the program is that you came with a very open mind. Even though you gave yourself that space that, okay, if I like it, I'll stay. If I don't, then I would leave it. Even in that moment, usually what people do is that they come with this certain level of judgment that, okay, let's see what's there. I don't think you ever approached the program with that mindset. I think even if you were there, even if at the back of your mind you were like, okay, this is just one session that I'm going to be a part of, even in that moment you were like, no, from this one session I want to extract the maximum amount of learning. And I think the way that you surrendered yourself to the program and to Gurleen ma'am as your mentor played a very critical role in making sure that you were actually able to, like ma'am says, absorb like a sponge every value that the program had to give to you. And I think that's truly incredible. And I'm very glad that you mentioned about the different aspects of the program, the activities that you did, because that's what my next question is about. So over the last 12 weeks, there have been different elements of the curriculum that have played into your growth. There have been your Zenith Mastermind live sessions, your live discussion forums, there have been your assignments, and the feedback that you've been getting. How have all of these different elements of the curriculum played into your growth during the last 12 weeks?
Yes, the masterclass and live sessions, they were really amazing. And the most important aspect of those sessions were, especially the live sessions, where there was immediate feedback. So you don't, you could immediately relate to the feedback. Like you're talking on some concept and you are explaining and you're talking about it, and immediately Gurleen ma'am used to give very clear answers and explanation. So that was one important aspect. Second is the breakout sessions that you planned, Afrin, and the different cases that you would give to the groups. That was fantastic experience, because that gave us a very short time bound burst to find and apply those concepts in that very small amount of time, 10 minutes, and create these 2-minute presentations. So that activity was also quite engaging, and had full energy of group going into those activities. And also some of the games that we played, or even the affirmations and some of the gestural communication that you taught, I think they are quite invaluable and very practical and quite applicable in our day-to-day life. So overall, all these sessions, the format and the way they were conducted, it has been amazing.
And at the center of this growth, Mr. Shali, has been your mentor, Gurleen ma'am. And like I mentioned earlier, you've had so many years of experience. You must have undergone a lot of trainings. What makes Gurleen ma'am stand out as a mentor?
In last 30 years, I have gone through multiple programs. Some of them technical, some of them managerial, some of them are related to leadership, some of them related to behavioral aspects. And I have seen different mentors, coaches, as well as a different style of conducting this program. One thing that keeps Gurleen ma'am apart is the way she speaks. Her composure, her invisible authority. Her body language, as well as I feel she's like a counselor. You are in a therapy session and she's like a therapist. So that kind of authority she's got, and that is something really unique about her, and that makes her stand apart. So that has been my experience with Gurleen ma'am.
Absolutely. I think Gurleen ma'am really creates a safe space because you're a part of a community and you're in a program where you're required to first work on your internal communication. As a result of that, I think a lot of things come out about how you feel, about how the struggles in your personal life, and the space has to be very safe for you to be able to feel confident and comfortable in sharing those things. And I completely relate with you on that. She really makes people express themselves and their heart out in a very beautiful manner. I must say, Mr. Shali, this has been a very wonderful interaction. I understand that it's very late for you right now, so I will only ask you one more question before we conclude. Is there anything else that you would like to say to anyone who's watching this interview right now?
Yeah, I would say Zenith is a movement. We need to probably take this to as many people as possible. It is not just communication, it is communication intelligence, it's emotional intelligence, it's the way we have to build connection with the people around you, and it's the way of life. So I strongly urge everyone to embrace Zenith way, become Zenith, and once you become Zenith, you will always be Zenith. So that's my concluding message.
Beautiful. Nothing else to add to that. That's such a beautiful way to end, Mr. Shali. Thank you so much for your time today. Thank you for this wonderful interaction. I found it very insightful, and thank you for being a part of this amazing community. Thank you.
Thank you, Afrin. It has been great interacting with you, and really amazing. Have a good day.
That's good. Thank you.